you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Donnie Jones, she the one you wanna see. Donnie Jones Live, this is where you wanna be. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Hey, welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady, hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly, having a wonderful, wonderful day.
A wonderful day.
A wonderful day. Even though, we're here in Atlanta and it's an overcast day, I still got just like sunshine inside.
And that's what we have to have. Right now, we have to have sunshine inside. And I think that's important, especially with everything that's going on in the world. I think we need to remember that regardless of what's going on in the world, we have so much to be grateful for.
We do.
We have so much to look at life and go, you know what? All is not bad. In fact, all is well, even when it doesn't look well. So yeah, I kind of want to focus on that.
I can kind of believe that because I've seen some trees, believe it or not, that don't look so well on the outside.
Yes.
But they could actually be really healthy on the inside.
Yeah, or vice versa.
Vice versa. Wait.
Yeah.
Can't they have like some bad bark but still be good?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. He wants me to plant a seed.
Yes.
I'm going to plant a seed. Well, that's more of my spiritual thing. But plant a seed also as far as your trees are concerned. For those of you that don't know, I am Donnie the Tree Lady. I own a tree service here in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes. Don's Tree Service.
Yes.
If you do want to get in contact with us, you can reach out to us online under Don's Tree Service at donstree.com, or our telephone number is 770-413-8733 for easy access. Think about it like this: 770-413-TREE. Give us a call, schedule an appointment for you to get an estimate if you're here in the Atlanta area. But going back to planting a seed, you're right. A lot of times people will have us come out and take a look at their trees and they're like, oh, the tree doesn't look healthy, or, it's got a bad limb. And they think that the tree needs to come down, but that's not always the case. A lot of times your trees just need a little tender loving care, a little TLC, meaning have us come out, take a look at it, and we can always give you an estimate on trimming the tree or kind of crown reducing, or what we call crown cleaning, meaning we go in and take out those dead, dying, or hazardous limbs. And even if there's like a little mark or something on the bark, that doesn't necessarily mean that the tree needs to come down, because what happens is trees will compartmentalize, meaning the injury can be localized, and then other wood can grow around it, or bark can grow around the wound if you take care of the tree.
I'm going to ask you a crazy question. And it's going to sound like a joke, but I'm really asking. Because, like, with people, you can tell when they get old, with old age, they get gray, get wrinkly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got to take care of them a little bit differently. Does trees kind of go through that same thing?
I think
you see a tree and, like, that's an old, elderly tree, and you need to, do a little bit of extra love.
Yeah, like sometimes with your older trees, you might want to put mulch around the base. I think that's, in general, a good choice, but especially as your trees get older, because you want to protect the critical root zone. So maybe you can get some mulch, to put around the base. I like natural mulch. A lot of people like the colored mulch. I like natural mulch. Just natural mulch that's not coming from another diseased tree, that can take care of your trees and help them stay healthy.
Cool.
So yeah,
putting mulch around the
base,
really,
doing crown cleaning.
Help it.
Doing crown cleaning, meaning getting your trees trimmed properly, but not over trimming. Like, I don't believe in taking too much of the tree out, like no more than 25-30% in a calendar season. So yeah, but what about you? What's going on in your world?
You know what? First thing, thank you for your knowledge about trees.
I'm trying.
Honestly, in my world, not a whole. It's a whole lot and not a whole lot at the same time.
Yeah.
I did this great concert at Morris Brown a couple of weeks ago, called the Purple House. It was a kickoff to their homecoming, which was a great turnout, great event. And the church is going really good. It's kind of like with people with weight loss, where you gain a little bit and you lose a little bit and you gain a little bit. Well, that's how my church is going.
But tell them the name of your church.
If you don't know, it's St. Mark Lutheran Church in beautiful East Point, Georgia. But it's funny, Donnie. I do have a question about something that I went through this week. And me and you have talked about this before, about, churches. And a lot of times we've talked before about, people that always go to church and they give their money to the church, but at the same time, it seems like the church isn't helping people at the same time. I had a situation that left a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
All right? I got a phone call early this past Tuesday morning, early, and it was a situation where this young lady who had nowhere to go. She had 2 kids with her. She was at a shelter, but the shelter didn't have any more space for her. And they were calling me like, hey, can you help? What can you do and do everything? And, right away I got up and I started making my phone calls, calling this contact, calling that contact. Got the information, sent it to them like, hey, we got a place for you, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't hear anything else back from them. Not a phone call. So
it's kind of like
back,
once you get the help, all of a sudden you kind of disappear.
So then that leaves a taste in my mouth for like the next person that says, hey, can you help me? And it's like, okay, I want to, but I probably ain't gonna see you no more. I probably ain't.
But here's the thing though, and we did talk about this before in the past, is that, when you help a person, sometimes are you really helping them or are you enabling them?
Right.
And a lot of times people are in situations where maybe they've got some substance issues. But going back to just basic courtesy. Like if somebody helps you or makes a difference in your life, I think it's important to show gratitude. And I think a lot of times when people are in tough situations, sometimes those situations are like that because they have a lack of gratitude for what they already have. And so they continue to go through thing after thing after thing until they can get to a point where they go, wait a minute. I may not have everything I want, but at least I've got this, or at least I've got that. And even when somebody has nothing, if you help them, it's important that they show gratitude to you.
Oh yeah.
So that, you know what I mean?
But now let me make sure I'm clear about this. It's not like I do something for you and you got to come and join my church.
Right. I understand.
Got to get back to not like that, but just if you open up the door for somebody, at least it makes you feel good to say thank you. I appreciate it. And that's what I'm looking at, because a lot of times people they come to the church knocking on the door, and I rarely ever give out money.
Right.
But you give it out, you don't see them again. They don't give a phone call back saying thank you. This worked out. You helped me or whatever. Nothing.
Yeah.
And it makes you just have a sour taste in your mouth to say, But I think that goes, for me, it goes even further than the church. Yeah. It's just individuals in your life a lot of times that they'll come to you for help in this crisis. And
I appreciate how you help me.
Well, Donnie, we go back and forth though. I'm saying, and that's a real understanding though, because I've helped you and you've helped me, and it's not like we keep in score. I think that's true friendship. I help you, you help me, but it's the ones that want you to always help them, but are never really able or willing to help you.
To reciprocate. And a lot of times reciprocation isn't money.
Right.
A lot of times reciprocation is time.
It's time,
right. Can you make time for me? Can you make time for a conversation? Or one simple one, just reach out to me and check on me and see how I'm doing. Just to say hello. But I also think it goes back to, it's not a difficult conversation, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and maybe we could talk about this on the second half, where we've got to get back to values.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say get back to values. We need to just have values.
Yeah.
We need to just have values, meaning we're teaching people how to navigate this world, whether it's how to be gracious, how to be kind. What does supporting somebody look like? What does work ethic look like? What does reciprocating a good gesture look like? And I think there's an issue with that.
I would agree with that, and I would also say relationship building and how to maintain healthy relationships. That it's not like just a family relationship, but like if you help me, how can I build this relationship? How do I show courtesy of saying thank you? I think that's something that is not taught.
That's right.
Because I'll listen to our church voicemail.
Yes.
And sometimes all you hear is, "We y'all giving away free food."
Yep.
Click.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's no, hey, my name is so and so. I'm dealing with this, that. Can you help me? And it's almost like, well, and I'll say it like this: a lot of times that I see people in these situations, it's a lot of their own mental and how they handle things. Just like this couple or this lady that didn't even call back or didn't even say anything, something tells me that plays a big role in why she's in the place
Exactly,
that she's at.
exactly,
You know?
exactly. Well, once again, because we talked about bringing value to people, and one of the things we can talk about is the solution. What are ways you can show gratitude?
That's the
Maybe
thing.
sometimes people don't know how to show gratitude. So you know what? I'm going to title this "How to Show Gratitude." And one of the ways that you can show gratitude is to remember. I'll go through 5 really quick.
Okay.
You remember the person. If they did something kind for you, remember the person.
Yes.
Meaning, try to find out some way that you can just call up and say, hey, happy birthday. Or I'm just thinking about you. Or I know it's Monday and there's not much going on, but I wanted you to start the week knowing that I appreciate you and that I see you and I appreciate what you've done for me or what you're doing for me.
Right.
That's a way to show gratitude. Another way is to serve people. To serve the person that helped you. Like maybe you may be in a situation where they helped you financially or something like that. Maybe you could serve them by babysitting. Or volunteering.
Doing
something, cutting the grass. Or you can show gratitude by coming over and helping them with a chore or something.
Just being available.
Another way to show gratitude is even if that person doesn't necessarily need anything from you, maybe you can show gratitude by expressing gratitude to others. Like being able by moving forward, pushing forward, or that's where I'm trying to think of passing it forward. Another way that you can show gratitude is to be humble. Be humble. Just as you go through your life, be humble.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? That's funny.
Yeah.
That is so true. You know, it was a guy, and I don't know if this is on the same vein as that, but it made me feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
But it was a guy in front of me who needed some change to buy whatever he was buying or whatever. And the attendant wouldn't, give me any slack. So he was like, man, do you got 30 cents or whatever, or 10 cents or something like that? And I gave him a quarter or whatever. And he tells the attendant now, oh, now you owe me some money.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, wow. That just kind of.
Humility.
Yeah, your humility is just switch. You was begging and now you are.
But I think that's why being humble is so important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we're in a place where we need somebody, we still feel self-conscious and we overcompensate by being, once we get that help, once we get that little situation, instead of being humble, you feel self-conscious, so you do just the opposite of being humble, which is to be a little arrogant,
a little bit too arrogant.
A little bit too arrogant. And then the last way to show gratitude, well, it's not the last way, but one of the best last ways.
Out of your top 5.
Out of our top 5 is to pray.
Ooh, always. Pray without ceasing.
Yeah, pray without ceasing.
Right.
Pray for the person that helped you. Pray for others that might be in the same situation you're in. Pray for a family member. Pray for a friend. Pray for a job. Pray for the people that maybe you've had a disagreement with or that may have put you in a situation where you're needing help. Pray for that person.
Right.
Pray for God to help you out of your situation.
You don't really realize how much prayer really helps and change things and affects things. And that's why for the longest I didn't understand. Well, pray without ceasing. Well, why would you want to do that? That's a boring life. Just always hallelujah, hallelujah, praying. But in a sense, if you're always praying and understanding how to pray, of praying goodness to people, good fortune to people,
that's right,
positiveness towards people, that energy that you're sending out there in the atmosphere, in a sense, those brainwaves, actually manifest themselves in other people's lives. And it helps you too. Especially when you're focusing on what you want, how you want to change in your life. You have to constantly pray and not praying about yesterday, because you can't fix yesterday.
That's right.
You can't fix about, oh Lord God, I'm tired of being so broken.
Yeah.
No, God, if anything, thanking Him for what's coming. Thanking Him for Donnie's, next steps, achievements, praying for that person. That goes a long way.
That's right. That's right. And speaking of going a long way, I talk about the fact that I've come a long way, and I actually documented that in a book called From Failure to Fabulous. So if you want a little insight as to why I think the way I think, or just maybe want to hear my story or just support what we're doing, you can actually get my book on Amazon. It's called From Failure to Fabulous by me, Donnie Jones.
Yep.
Because our goal is to actually bring value. You know, of course we love talking. You can tell me and Marty love talking.
We can just talk all day, but
we can talk all day. But we really do want to bring. We want to give you something, and so give us a call at 888. I don't even remember the number. It's 888-349.
Wow, we're going to take a pause.
We're going to take a pause. I'll get that for you, exactly. But you can always reach, you know what? Even forget even calling social media. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Donnie Jones. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
I am that guy, Marty McFly, and we will be back.
Yeah.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree
If
Service.
the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Hey, this is Marty McFly. Now, if you've listened to the show, there's not a secret. I'm a minister. I'm actually a pastor of a church, a wonderful church in East Point, Georgia, called St. Mark Lutheran Church. And what I want to do is invite you to one of our services, or any of our services. See, our service is online, on YouTube. And it's free. You ain't got to pay for it. You ain't even got to do offering. But I invite you to share with me in worship, and just check it out. If you like it, subscribe. And you can actually send me a message or a question. But it's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty Ringer. You can actually log on right now and have church with me. That's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty Ringer.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly. Trying to, like we said, trying to add value. Because, see, sometimes we can always talk about problems, but it's very, I think, more impactful that we answer give some credible advice on how to fix the
solutions.
problem. Right, solutions.
Well, I got a big one.
And if you're just, kind of tuning in, we are discussing, I guess, people that are not appreciative of help.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're in a crisis and they ask for help, and once you help them, they really sometimes don't seem like they value your help.
They don't value it, or they're not grateful for it, or
Right.
the help that you're giving them is not necessarily the help they need.
Right.
Because a
or the
lot
help
of
they
times
want.
people, or what they
Yeah.
want. But it's interesting because we were also talking about our country.
Yeah.
And the fact that, we're always helping other countries,
Yeah.
but you cannot give from an empty well. You cannot give from an empty well. And I think in our business life and in our personal life, we do that. Meaning, you want to give, you want to help, whatever, but you don't really have the resources yet to do that. And I think our country has got to make a turn. I think we should always be kind. We should always be good. We should always help. We should always support other countries in need. But at the same token, if we're not already taking care of home,
Right.
how do we have the resources to take care of other people? And people say that, you have to do this to keep diplomatic relations. But at what point do we go, I can't support this right now?
Yeah. I guess, I got mixed emotions on it. And I'll say that, I understand you put things in reserve to help, for different crises or whatever. And I do get upset. Well, I'm not going to say get upset, but I do say, okay, we got so many people here in the United States that are hungry and dealing with real life tragedies, but we're real quick to go across the seas to help other people over there.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of a story, though, that I just heard the other week. And it's being honest, so bear with me real quick, but it was like a farm story.
Okay.
And it was a rat that was surprised that he found a rat trap in the house, and was like, "Oh my God, there's a rat trap!" So he goes to the chicken and the pig and the cow and was like, "Look, y'all gotta help me. There's a rat trap in the house. They trying to get me."
Yeah.
And they like, "That ain't got nothing to do with us."
Right.
You know, I'm a chicken, I'm a pig, I ain't got nothing to do with that. So later on, unfortunately, a snake gets caught in the rat trap. Okay? It gets caught and it bites the owner of the house. The wife of the house, it bites her, a poisonous snake, and she dies.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, okay?
Yeah.
So now they have a big banquet, but they need to make some food for, the pastors and everybody that's coming over. So they go get the chicken, and they cut the chicken open to get some chicken, chicken legs and everything. Then they go to the pig, and they said, well, we need some pork chops and everything. So they cut up the pig, and they was like, okay, well, now the funeral is here. We need to have a big feast. So they go and cut up the cow. Now, see, the moral of the story is, if you didn't help that first, the person in the beginning, it kind of affects everybody later on.
Oh.
She didn't even get that. That was just been all
that was
over.
Good.
That just
That
been
was,
all
I
over.
got it. I did get it.
I'm just saying. So and I kind of.
So you're saying our country has to help these other countries, because if we don't, I didn't look at it that way.
I'm saying, okay, if we don't
way.
help Ukraine and Putin, wins that over there, what's going to stop him from trying to take over more and take over more? Same thing with Hitler. That's what he was trying to do, take over more. And everybody was like, well, that's not my war.
Yeah.
So in those kind
You
of
have a
situations,
point. You have a very good point.
I can see that,
Right.
But at the same time, here in America, you're dealing with people that are hungry, a lady with 2 or 3 kids, and ain't got a bed.
Exactly. So let's go back to an analogy an analogy. So if you have a family that you love and care about, right? And that family is going through some challenges, okay? You're barely holding on to your job, but you got a little something saved up.
Right.
And then you have a neighbor, another family, a whole other family come by. Now your family doesn't have food on the table, and you're kind of taking a little bit out of your little savings to put a little bit of food on the table.
Right.
And your neighbor comes by, and they have nothing either.
Right.
What do you do when you're not even really able to take care of your own family the way you need to?
Well, it's in that kind of a situation, I think you have to work as a community.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, okay, you're my family, you're my neighbor, how can we all eat together? We can share.
Yeah.
But that's if you're willing to put skin in the game too.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have to put some skin in the game.
But what
yourself.
does skin in the game look like when you're talking about countries? Because we now have countries that are our friends, that are allies, that are struggling with some challenging situations. But we have people at home that are barely eating.
Right. Well, yeah, but I think that there are different scenarios. I'm saying you can have, just throwing it out there, you can have a nice household, okay?
Yeah.
You can take care of your kids and all that stuff. Now, you might have a challenge with your daughter, all right? Might be something random, it might be something small, it might be something major, but it might be different than the need of the neighbor.
Yeah.
The neighbor might be dealing with food, and you're dealing with, okay, I got a teenager that's cutting herself.
Okay.
I got to take care of my teenager, but I can ration out some food.
You can ration. That's true, because it's 2 different problems.
2 different problems.
But our commitment as a country is always, well, there's people dying over there. There's people going hungry over there. There's people that are being slaughtered and killed over there.
Right.
Because of wars and stuff, and I get that.
Right. And that's that major problem. People are getting raped, killed, bombed, just. And then here we have people that they don't want to get up and get a job.
Now you're getting ready to preach.
Okay.
Now you're getting ready to preach.
It's like, okay, you don't want to get up and get a job, and you are homeless, you're hungry, but you didn't want to get a job 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Right.
And this was coming, but you wanted somebody just to give it to you. Okay, that's a different kind of a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem that we have things in place for you to survive.
We do have things in place.
But I think me and you talked about that earlier this morning about, is that a community problem or is that an individual problem?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
And I thought about this after you said it. If you live in a household or you live in a community where being smart, getting your education, sacrificing and not buying the latest thing, not being impressed with the latest brand or whatever.
Right.
When you live in a community where those values are a certain way, that doesn't get passed down to the next generation. So so as a community, if we're not saying it's important to as a whole, I know there are areas of our community that we talk about education, but as a whole, where we raise up education as if it's like the Holy Grail, okay? Where we tell our women that it is important to abstain from sexual relations until you find the right partner, until you get married.
That is.
If you are struggling financially, you don't spend money you don't have.
Donnie,
like these are things that I wrestle with, like the managing finances and all that kind of stuff. There are certain cultures that have certain values. It's not that they're better people, but in certain areas they're better because of the values they have in that community. Why can't we adopt those values?
Sad because the community doesn't want to adopt those values. And it's funny because I come from a real small town, okay?
Yeah.
Out of Georgia. And you would think that it's not even in the same country as Atlanta.
Yeah.
You go down there and just the community mindset is different.
Yeah,
it's like, well, y'all want to play basketball on concrete? You might hurt yourself, versus, they want to do it on dirt.
Yeah.
But this is their mindset.
Yeah.
The way that they process just communications or socialization is so much different. I look at churches from Atlanta versus rural churches. They don't play, it's the Bible. It's only the King James Version.
Right.
If anything else, you can't be looking at your Bible on your phone.
Yeah.
You just wrong.
Yeah.
That's Satan. And it's not just one this is the community.
The community,
Because they don't see something different.
Yeah.
They don't hear something different. And a lot of times, if you're an outsider coming in trying to teach them, they feel like, who you think you are?
And that's true.
With all your education.
That's true. So what's the solution? Because, we're trying to believe that if we bring up a subject, that we try to close with a solution on it.
Right. Well, I do not want to be or sound like the typical old pastor, which says some things you just going to have to pray about.
Yeah.
But here in Georgia, where you have, I think those, what they call them, sunset towns or turn down cities.
Sundown cities.
Sundown cities, where if you're not familiar with, where it's not good for a person of color to be in that town when the sun goes down.
Okay.
All right. Just being honest, they'll tell you.
I'm trying to figure out how that has something to do with culturally, but go ahead.
This is 2023.
Yeah.
And people still think like that.
That's true.
So in the cultural thing, it's like, how would you change that if out of all these years, certain areas I don't know if you can change except pray about it.
But I think you can change it. And it starts with one person at a time talking about a solution.
Right. Well,
those of us that know better, I feel have an obligation to teach the next person. So each one teach one. And here's the thing though, some people don't want to listen. They're not going to listen.
Donnie,
but we can also stop supporting companies and ideologies that don't celebrate excellence.
But Donnie, a couple of years ago, maybe last year, right outside of Atlanta, what was his name? Aubrey?
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery was running, got shot. That whole town was like, well, ain't nothing wrong with it. Be shot.
Okay, well, that's a problem. But I'm going back. That's a problem. That needs to be fixed, right?
Right.
But this is what we do as a community. What you and I are doing right now is what we do as a community. I'm talking about out there on Bankhead Highway,
right,
where ain't nobody chasing them other than themselves, killing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'm talking about a black person killing another black person, and us as a community not being outraged. But when a white cop kills a black person, we've got Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I'm talking about
those issues.
Those issues have to change. But we always deflect it to the white man whenever we start talking about these issues.
Yeah, and it's not about them.
It's not. It's not.
It's a lot in our own culture that
our culture has to change.
Right, but going back to the initial question is how do you do that?
But we do, I'm saying the solution is each one teach one, and we have to understand that we're going to lose a whole generation of people.
Oh yeah.
There are literally people now when it comes back to work. I was always taught hard work ethic, right? There are literally people right now growing up in society right now in our community that think it's stupid to work that hard.
Oh yeah.
That think, well, why should I work that hard? Not understanding that hard work and working smart not only does something as far as bringing resources your way, but it also does something internally too. Like, we're wired to work. I'm not saying work like digging ditches, but I'm saying working on something, even if it's working in volunteering or working in helping somebody and working or doing yard work or working on software.
Or how about
whatever.
working on your goal?
Or working on your goal.
Yeah.
We are wired to do that. So I think if each one teaches one and we make that a community motto, even though we say it, but do we actually do it? I think things will start to change, and stop supporting that do not exemplify excellence in our community. There's actually a class that I go to right now that I'm actually considering not going to because it's so dang raunchy. You know, it's a fitness class, but it's because I don't like the way our women are portrayed in some of the songs in these videos.
And you dancing, working out with
exactly.
it.
So,
I done lost 5 pounds. Bounce that booty.
Exactly.
Bounce that thing.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. But anyway, by the way, thank you for this conversation. We'll have more conversations like this.
Yes.
Because we feel like it's important.
And actually,
we
need
have
to
be each one.
Right. And moving forward, we're going to have to try to bring some real experts in here.
Absolutely.
To actually, because I don't want to just talk about it. I want to see how can we change.
How can we change?
Right. How do we change the culture? You know, because it starts off good and then it turns bad. We have the water boys that on the corners selling water. At first it was honorable. Y'all going out there, but now y'all like little gangs. Yeah. You know, but anyway, it's been a great show. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones and
Marty McFly.
Marty McFly. We will see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Peace, Key.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree Service.
If the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Hey, this is Marty McFly. Now, if you've listened to the show, there's not a secret. I'm a minister. I'm actually a pastor of a church, a wonderful church in East Point, Georgia, called St. Mark Lutheran Church. And what I want to do is invite you to one of our services, or any of our services. See, our service is online, on YouTube. And it's free. You ain't got to pay for it. You ain't even got to do offering. But I invite you to share with me in worship, and just check it out. If you like it, subscribe. And you can actually send me a message or a question. But it's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty Ringer. You can actually log on right now and have church with me. That's St. Mark Lutheran Church with Minister Marty Ringer.
Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.